Hi everyone. Welcome to Happiness with Pirate. And this is a podcast to talk about happiness and how to have more of it in your life and how to understand it better. My name is Pirate and I'm going to be a happiness expert. And today I'm talking with Sabrina Victoria. She's an amazing woman. You know that, right?
Thank you.
And she runs multiple businesses and projects. And the project that I met with her was her. It was her version before, and now it become her nation.
Yeah.
So it's grown a lot. And it's a platform where different women can talk about their stories. They can share their stories, and you can follow up and listening other women's stories, which is really great because you can relate to a lot of them.
Yep.
And what happens as well, the empowering part of it, because like eventually the way I see her nation is woman empowering woman. That's what it does.
Yep.
Because and true stories.
Yep.
So I really love that project. Sabrina Victoria also has another business where she does um, helps everybody else. It's Human Better 365.
Mm.
And today I'm going to talk about Sabrina Victoria, about her businesses and how happiness is being part of her life's journey.
Yes.
So, hi, Sabrina.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. And I want to start with you just introducing yourself.
Sure. Um, Sabrina Victoria. I run a beautiful, empowering, growing community of women who are striving for greatness. They're striving for next level. They're striving for doing things better than they did yesterday. I am a true entrepreneur. I love to build businesses, and my passion is to help other women, solopreneurs who have either just started their entrepreneurial journey, have 5 or less employees, and are looking to hit that 6 figure mark. So, kind of from like 0 to 6, and really help them build out their structure in their business so they can streamline their time and then take their income to the next level. So, it's all about power, voice, confidence, wealth as far as emotional health, mental health, financial health, physical health, and all the things that you need as a healthy person to get to the next level.
Hmm. And that's the Human Better 365, right?
Yeah. So the Human Better 365 is my company, and that curriculum is what is the catalyst for the communities that I run. So I run Her Nation, which you're part of. Oh, and
Hmm.
you're also part of Sober Society and
Yeah.
Sober Society. So the same curriculum is what I use to push those communities forward.
And what drives you to do all that?
My own story, I had a really hard time as far as my journey. It's been a really tough journey for me. I did the whole single mom thing. I was a Jehovah's Witness. I got pregnant with no husband. I was kicked out of my religion. Parents had to step aside, and I did the whole single mom thing for a really long time. I ended up in an abusive relationship, and I had some serious issues with not knowing my own strength, not knowing my voice, not standing in my power, having no money, therefore no power, and really having to step into fear, step into courage, and do things that I had never done before in order to get to where I am. And once I kind of stepped into this role, I started to look around and I started to realize that there are so many individuals in the world suffering from the same exact thing.
Hmm.
So I have made it my mission to encourage, to help, to navigate, shine a light for other individuals to be able to find their power and their voice.
Hmm. The interesting thing with you as well, like every time I known you now, like little over a year, I think.
Mhm.
And every time I think I already know everything about you, I find out something new. It's like now when you are like, I was preparing for this podcast, I looked at your press kit and I was like, I didn't know this. I didn't know that. And then I looked up some YouTube videos of your when in the beginning of Human Better 365. And I see some of the videos when you did then. And I was like, I didn't know any of that things. I didn't know she was doing it all that. And so it's really cool to see that how you rebuild, like build yourself up as a woman in such a strong way, and now open this her nation up for other women to do the same.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's one of the things that I really enjoy is really keeping a lineage or the journey that I've been on and being authentic to, the path that I've walked. It hasn't been easy. There's been ups and downs. There's been a ton of pivots. I think one of the main issues that humans in general, not just females, but humans in general have is they're afraid to commit because they feel, or to make a decision because they feel like when they make a decision, they're going to have to commit to that thing for the rest of their life. And one of the things that I love to showcase is you can go all in, you can 100% commit, and then you can decide to change your mind. And that is totally okay. If you look at my journey of what I've gone through, even just with my business, my
Mhm.
entrepreneurial journey, just that, not even my personal journey. There's a ton in that too. But you can clearly see that there has been some huge pivots in my teachings, in my coaching. And that's one of the joys of being an entrepreneur is that we have the freedom and the flexibility to step into whatever role we want to step into, and then we can pivot out of that.
Yeah, I see that too because like sometimes they think like they consider it failing, but like I never considered things as failing. I would just say like I practiced.
Yeah.
So I didn't fail. I just practiced. Like now I'm
Yeah.
trying again, something different. Because there have been some situations in my life where I planned something out and everything was already organized, but I planned it maybe with somebody else and that person failed. And like, well, there's nothing I can do. Like that's some kind of project that I can't do it, pursue, advance on my own. So I just, okay, I learned something and I'm going to do something else, or it was just a lesson in my life.
100.
So that works as well. So, but this podcast we're doing about happiness. So, you know me now for a while. So, I'm all about teaching the happiness and like making like the part of it, like teaching with happiness. A lot of people think it's some kind of destination they have to get to.
Yep.
And so like having like partly life part of their life, and to understand it's just like it's not logical or reasonable to be happy all the time because
Yep.
people die, people lose jobs, like something happens in the world, so that's not possible.
Yep.
So you just have to understand it's like what is happiness and how is happiness part of your life and
Exactly.
how you can have more of it. That's the other thing. Like, how can you have more of it? So for that one, what is happiness? Like the way how you consider what is happiness?
Ooh. I love to talk about happiness versus joy because I think a lot of times individuals tend to intermix both, right? Happiness and joy are the same thing. And although, yes, I do think that there is a distinct difference between being happy and being joyful. I believe that happiness is more of a state of being. It's more of events and things and this could be happy, could not be happy. It's more of an emotion. Like you could be angry, you could be irritated, you could be sad, and you can be happy. And I believe joy is a lull. It is a invisible, or almost like a, I don't want to say a secret, but kind of like a secret. It's kind of just always there. And I think that the way that you hit joy is by practicing personal development, practicing personal growth, really stepping into your authentic self, and being the best person that you can possibly be. Um, so, as far as happiness goes, I mean, happiness is everywhere. Life is full of happiness, but life is not about just being happy. And I think that is where the misstep is, of depression and anxiety and heightened stress. It's because people are looking around and they're thinking that they have to be happy all the time. I love what you just said, as far as you don't have to be happy all the time. It's an emotion. It goes, you ebb and flow.
Yeah, that is a feeling. So it's not reasonable, but like somebody got sick in your family and you're walking around all happy. That's just not logical, like it's like common sense here.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Mhm.
Totally agree with that. And then
But you
there's
can,
there's also a depression that happens when people don't feel happy. They
mhm.
think something's wrong with them, and then I think that kind of spirals or cycles into more depression, more anxiety, more stress, because they're trying to hit this elite level of happiness all the time, and it's just not logical.
Mm-hmm. Instead of that, they can just like deal with the problem that they have, get through that, like depression, stress, or anxiety. And after they dealt with the healing and they got the healing, and then they go back to the like happy state of mind.
Exactly.
Because they can be goal, but they can just like jump over from whatever that is
Yep.
over to happiness right away without healing and without the process. So they still
Exactly.
have to like do the process in between to heal whatever it is, because otherwise it just stays for longer.
Exactly.
It's just bottling it up. So one thing was interesting for me as well as like Jehovah's Witnesses is happy. So you were grow. How old when you were left? So you were raised since
Um,
birth, right?
I got disfellowshipped when I was 20 years old. However, I worked at getting back into the religion. I probably officially left between 25 and 28. Most people, there's like this drawn out, like you stop kind of going to church or the meetings, and Jehovah's Witnesses were going 3 times a week when I was a Jehovah's Witness. So
Mm-hmm.
usually when people start fading out, it's called fading. You'll, instead of going to 3 a week, you'll start to go to 2 a week. Then you'll start to go to 1 a week. Then you'll start to go to every other. So it's just kind of a fade. So I think I started fading around 25 and was probably officially out by 28.
Okay. So, but you were born into it, or your parents started going in later?
Yeah, so my parents were actually recruited by door to door. So there's always all those jokes about door to door witnessing that Jehovah's Witnesses do. That's how my parents got converted. Somebody came to their door. We were Catholic. I was baptized as a Catholic as a little baby. And somebody came to our door and sat down with my mother, started studying with my mother over a course of weeks and months. Then my dad joined. And by the time I was 5, my parents were baptized as Jehovah's Witnesses, and that's really where my Jehovah's Witness journey started.
Hmm. So now the question that I had was like, is happiness anything in their life that's like considered, or is it important, or do they even talk about happiness, or is happiness any part of Jehovah's? But like, is it a religion?
Yeah, it's a
Considered
religion.
religion?
That's a good question. I am going to say no. Jehovah's Witnesses do not talk about being happy, but they also don't talk about any emotions. There's
Mm.
absolutely zero personal development, zero mindset coaching, zero helping with voice or confidence or strength in this world. Jehovah's Witnesses believe that we are here to serve a purpose. That purpose is to convert as many people as possible into the religion. And the more people that you recruit, the better off you are to be on Jehovah's good side. And in the end, all of them are waiting for the end to come. So they live very small, quiet, humble lives. They don't buy a lot of stuff. They don't live big. They're not extravagant. And they're waiting for Armageddon to come so they can, be saved and be resurrected into the new system.
Okay. Kind of, well, I don't know really how to comment on that, to like not come around defensive for that thing, you
It
know.
doesn't really matter. It's all
It's
pretend.
kind of like sounds to me like you don't really live, you're just waiting to die.
Yeah,
That's
that's
what it
exactly what it
sounded to
is.
me.
They're literally waiting around to die. That is literally what they're doing. They wake up every single day and they hope that today is the day that they either die or that Armageddon comes. They have
Wow.
zero ambition and zero goals for this world. This is not the world that they are supposed to flourish in. So anybody who is flourishing, right? So I'm trying to grow a business, I'm trying to grow a nation, I'm working on communities, I'm doing all of this wonderful stuff. And to them, it looks frivolous. It looks like a waste of time. It looks silly and dumb and not even worthy of being acknowledged.
Hmm. That's really different.
Yeah.
Okay. um, so let's go to the next question. You know the one that I had you answer one time before, but just for this podcast, we're gonna like do them again because this is for other people to understand how the questions that they can ask to understand what is like what makes them happy. So those are the questions, and those are the three items, if you remember that.
I do. Where did we do this at? I remember this.
We did it in your past podcast when I was in your podcast.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay.
There in Her Nation.
Yes, I
So
remember.
I asked them then first time, and it made you think about it. So, but those are general questions that everybody should ask because this is the way they will understand. The way I teach as well, like happiness is personal. Like even when everybody explains what is happiness, everybody will give up with a different story.
Yeah.
Like when we did interview with when I did a podcast with you said one of the things that you like is long showers.
Yes.
And there was a viewer who said that she likes baths, and
Yeah.
you don't like baths. She doesn't like showers. So now that's as simple as a happiness gets. You have to know what you like because no matter how many times we're gonna put you in the bathtub, that's not gonna make you happy, you know. But
Yeah.
give you one long hot shower, and you're gonna be happy. You're gonna
Yeah.
feel happy, for that moment. So
Yes.
that's why it's important to know those things that actually make you feel happy. Because,
I
like
love
you said, one thing is like that, and there's like different ways to understand like happiness. There's different feelings. Like I consider happiness a feeling, the emotion that comes up as well, but joy as well. And they like you said, they interrain with each other in so many different ways.
Yeah.
And there's also like excitement and all the things that go around happiness. Is happiness not like, but always go back to like happiness is not just one 24/7 thing. It's
Yeah.
just like how many times you can feel happy. That's how much happier your life will be.
Definitely.
You know,
Yep.
but you're gonna also be angry, sad, stressed. You're gonna have all those other feelings as well. But if you can go back to happiness and not get stuck on those other feelings for a long time, then you're gonna have happier life, like mainly
Exactly.
most of the time. So that's why it's important for people to know what makes them happy. So,
Definitely.
so tell me three activities that make you happy, make you feel happy.
This is going to be so interesting because I'm going to be able to go back and see what I originally said. Okay, three things. Is that like material things like that I can
Okay, yeah.
avoid?
Actually, let's start the. I skipped the first one.
Okay.
Three items that make you happy.
Okay, three items.
Yeah.
Um, three items that make me happy. I have a favorite T-shirt
Mm-hmm.
that makes me happy. I have my blender. I have a Vitamix blender that I use every single day. Makes me so happy.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a very expensive bed that makes me super happy.
That's good. Very good. And like that's the thing. Like those things have simple things, simple things. But what do you have to do when you have them? You enjoy having them.
Mhm.
It's just like you realize like, and it's okay to say like, yes, they do make me happy. Like some people start feeling guilty or like, oh, it's just a thing. But no, enjoy it. You
Yeah,
like it, you enjoy it because it does make you feel happy. When
exactly.
the moment that you're using it, makes you feel happy. And
Yeah.
it's normal, it's okay. So three activities that make you feel happy.
Three activities that make me feel happy: yoga, going to the beach, and weekend getaways.
Oh, yeah. That's beautiful as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Three people that make you happy.
Ooh, my son, my fiance, and I'm going to say that I had a really good time with a woman that I met on Facebook. I've met up with her twice now. She actually spoke at our summit this weekend. She came down from Iowa and spoke. So I'm going to put on the list today Stevie Lang.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. And three causes that make you happy. Something that you do.
Three causes, like
Mhm.
charity causes.
Well, it can be charity or it can be something that you do in a small scale or bigger scale, something like that. Yes.
Okay, Her Nation,
Mm-hmm.
Sober Society, and three causes. I put a lot of time and effort into those. I'm going to say rehabilitation centers that work with body image issues for females, anorexia, bulimia, and eating
Oh,
disorders.
yeah. That's cool. Well, let's talk about sober society. So I want to talk about a little bit about that as well. Like you just had a summit.
Yeah,
It
we
was a
did.
retreat for like sober people come together and just do what?
Yeah, I mean, we're trying really hard to change the mindset around sobriety. Uh, I got sober around 17 years ago, and I got sober on my own without any sort of facility, without any sort of rehab or detox. And I never heard of the word or associate. I mean, I've heard of the word, but I never associated with the term alcoholic. I had never been to AA or even recognized that it was like a real thing that was like worldwide or nationwide, that was an actual thing. And I did it on my own and I was super excited about it. And I likened it to health and vibrancy and brilliancy and bettering myself. And then I came down to Florida, and Florida is like a mecca for rehabs and detox centers and
Hmm.
AA. And
I
I
thought you were gonna just interrupt for a second. I thought you're gonna say it's a mecca for drinking.
Both.
Hmm. Oh,
But
that's
the
why it is both.
Yeah, exactly. But the issue is that these individuals who are getting sober, they're very secretive about it. They're very shameful. They feel a lot of guilt around this addiction or this disease or this life that they've had. And I just think that that's bullshit. Excuse my language. I don't think that that's a mindset that is going to allow them to pull themselves out of that lifestyle long term. So, Sober Society was born and is dedicated to rebuilding your identity away from sobriety, away from the term alcoholic, away from this shadow that kind of like
Mm-hmm.
hovers around people and follows them around and makes them feel bad about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
It just is what it is. If it's something that you did in the past, it was super silly and super dumb. And we got to move on. We got
Yeah.
to move on. So we create events, fun things to do, summits, retreats to bring people together, teach them just a little bit with some speakers, some mindset, some growth, some power, some confidence, some communication and fun activities, and really allow them to start to step into who do they want to be? Who are they
Mhm.
now? Who are they becoming?
And do you see, like, I consider like sober is so much more fun, so much more happier.
Yep.
Like you're happy, you just like it, because like the way with the drinking, you might be happy for just for that drinking time, and then what is most people are not even happy when they're drinking. You
Yep.
know, they just get more depressed and more stressed out and more anxiety. It's just so fake.
100. Yep.
But do you see people being happier when they're sober?
Yes. 100%. Once they get it,
Hmm.
once they understand the importance of it and they really step into what that is for real, right? Because there's a difference
Hmm.
between wanting to be sober and then being sober. If you're still romanticizing about it, if you're still, mouth is still watering when you think about your favorite alcoholic drink, you still got a little bit of work to do. You still have to do some more stepping. But for those that totally get it, they've put it behind them and they're living their best life. Yeah, true happiness.
Hmm. That's the way I see it as well. Because you're able to like actually enjoy life, and that's like happiness is about enjoying life. And now when you sober, you don't just sit and drink or whatever it is. You actually go out, you do things, you sober, you actually like your mind can actually enjoy those things
Yeah,
without being like smudged with whatever the substances that people are using,
exactly.
you know.
100%. Yeah.
And like you say, when they finally get it, that is the point where they finally get it, because like they sober and then they have this good feeling, joyful feeling. It feels so good,
Yep.
you know.
Exactly.
It
Yep.
feels completely different. So that's what I like about that. So how do you express your happiness when you're happy? How do you express it?
I love to laugh. That's just part of me. I love to have fun and laugh really loud and joke. I have a really good sense of humor. Um, yeah, I appreciate being happy and I try my best to always find happiness in everything, even on the worst of days. I'm constantly seeking out things to be optimistic about, things to be happy about, and I don't really sit in the dirt or the darkness of stress, anxiety, sadness, depression. Do I get it? Yes. Do I feel it? Yes. Do I have rushes of it? 100%. But I do my best to pivot as quickly as possible.
Hmm. And was it easy when you were like actually on your own, like when you were going through the struggles, or was it just something in the back of your mind that kept you going, or how was it in your hardest time? How did you in the past? How did you were you even thinking about happiness, or like what
Yeah.
if you go back to that moment, like what do you think, how was happiness part of that life then?
Yeah. I talk about this all the time as far as, where I was mentally and emotionally. And, there's this one story that I tell about. I would cross over a bridge when I lived in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Every day I would cross over this bridge. And I would think to myself, I was in such a state of despair and depression and anxiety and bitterness. And I would think to myself, all I have to do is just turn my wheel just a little bit. And if I turn my wheel just a little bit, then my car will fly off this bridge and I'll be gone. All my problems, all my worries, all of this angst that I'm feeling will just disappear. And what I used to do is I would just tell myself, let me just try to get through today. If I can't get through today, if it's just so awful that I just can't do it, then I can always fly off the bridge tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And what I did is while these crazy thoughts were rushing through my body every single time I would go over that bridge, while this was happening every single day, I was listening to motivational people. I was listening to podcasts that were motivating. I was reading books, YouTube videos, anything that I could find where people were going from a darkness to a light.
Mm-hmm.
So I was educating my brain, my emotional and my mental state of mind while I was going through this time, because I figured, why not? Like, if I'm going to go anyways, if I'm going to die anyways, if I'm going to end it anyways, why not at least mark all the things off your list that everybody says works and just try it? And then if it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't work, then it doesn't even matter anyways, because my life is over. So I almost did it as an experiment. Like,
Mm-hmm.
let me just see if it works. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? Literally nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So if anything, the best thing could happen.
Exactly.
And then and here I am. Here I
Mm-hmm.
am.
And you made it through it and everything else like that. What I was something came to my mind when you said that. Oh, automatic thoughts. It's like you like now when you're thinking back of that moment, it's like how why would that thought even come to your mind over like driving over a bridge, and it's kept on coming back because of the location,
Yeah,
like memory based location. So like bridge, that thought,
yeah,
bridge, that thought always came in that same place because of that was just a memory associated with location.
there you go.
So I had but and that's the thing with automatic thoughts. Like a lot of the times like we just believe them right away, or just like we just make such a big deal of it instead of like thinking, pausing and thinking about those automatic thoughts that come up,
Yeah,
like a lot of times they're just lies or not realities, like because you really didn't want to do it,
yeah,
but it
exactly,
was automatic thought that came in your mind, like suddenly, like just like because of the situation, everything came to your mind, but was not what you really wanted.
exactly.
It was just like automatic thought, and some of them they just come from the current situations. Like I remember when I had mine was also one of my hardest times, and I felt that I wanted to just like the feeling was that I wanted like, and it was like I want to like squeeze myself and cry, like get in a ball and cry.
Yeah,
And then I had like this wow moment in my brain that was like, that's what I feel like I want, but that's not what I really want.
yeah,
I really don't want to do that. And I
yeah,
didn't do that, but it's like because I don't want to do it. I don't know why that thought is on my mind, but that's not what I want to do. I want to rebuild my life. I want to start like fixing everything up and get a better life and do all the fun things and recreate things that I want to recreate and build myself up and all those things. That was what I really wanted. So after that, I learned to like always ask, Like if I have some kind of feeling that doesn't feel right, I was like, what do I really want? You know,
Love that.
like you had this feeling that, oh, I want to jump, like drive in a bridge, but you somehow with the different words, but you still realize like that was not what you really wanted to do.
Definitely.
Hmm. So that's the interesting thing with automatic states. So, what is your one of the happiest memories that you have?
Happiest memories. Ooh. Um, my fiance and I's 1 year anniversary, I surprised him with this crazy, awesome treasure hunt.
Wow.
And watching him get so excited from clue to clue was just so freaking awesome. And brings joy to my heart. I made a whole little snapfish little photo album of the past year and all of the clues and everything from that time, and it was so much fun watching him and so much fun doing all the things that I had planned for us.
Hmm. And like that makes me like point up for people like teaching wise. Like, did you see like you were happy and you enjoyed preparing it. Then
Yeah,
you had joy making it.
yeah,
Then you had joy giving it to him.
yeah,
Then he had fun and he was happy doing it. Then you were happy watching him doing it. Then you both were happy. So,
yeah.
like all those together, you created from one little simple idea, you created so much happiness,
Exactly.
you know?
Yeah,
And like
yeah,
the way happiness is energy, probably the people around and everything else, it was felt around you, both of you as well,
definitely. Yeah, it was
you
awesome.
know? Hmm. And things like that, that's why it matters. Like if you that's what I call creating happiness. So you created it all for yourself and for your partner.
Exactly. And it was so awesome.
That's cool. So I have this question, which is like one of the parts that I'm interested as well. How in your words, how is happiness and money related?
Happiness and money. Money gives you freedom. Uh, One of the biggest realizations that I had in my life is, there's, especially in the female community, is so devastating, but there's this, limiting belief around money and having a little bit of money and how money is bad and evil and not good and you need to be humble. And money is freedom, money is power, money is important. We live in an economic planet. You have to have
Hmm.
money in order to survive.
Hmm.
And once I really kind of started to understand the concept of that, literally everything changed for me. Everything.
Hmm. Yeah. So, what do you said? Like, because people have this idea that money is not not a, still think like money is not good. And it all depends how you use the money. The
Yeah.
way I see money and happiness is related is depends how you use the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Definitely.
That's that is simple it gets. Like,
Yeah, if you're robbing it from a bank or stealing it from somebody, obviously not good. But if you're trading money for services, if you're trading money for a product, if you're trading money for value,
mm-hmm,
then yeah, you deserve to have the money. You deserve to charge. You deserve to, one of the things that I was just talking to my mastermind about, I run a all female mastermind every Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern. And I was telling them, like, the reason I feel as if females are stuck in this rut of less than is because we haven't mastered what men have mastered as far as trading money.
mm-hmm,
So when men go out into the world, they get paid. And then they take that money and they give that money to somebody else. And then that person takes that money and then they give it to somebody else. And it becomes this huge cycle of money transferred from person to person to person. And it's this circle, this cycle that's beautiful. The more
Mm-hmm.
money you give, the more money that comes. The more money that you give, the more money that comes. And females are so scared to ask for the money. The very first step is you have to have money.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't do the first step of getting money, then you can't give money, right? So if
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Mm-hmm.
pay for my programs, if I don't charge for my programs, and I decide to give all my programs away for free, then that means I have no money to pay you as a coach to teach me new things.
Mm-hmm.
So if I don't have money to give you, then that means that you then have to lower your prices or do stuff for free in order to then give your context to me because I have no money.
Mm-hmm.
So then there's this whole cycle of I have no money, therefore I can't buy anything. So women who are selling things have to do it for free or for a minimum cost, which means they make no money, which means they can't pay for things. And it's this crazy cycle of lack.
Mm-hmm.
So some of us have to start stepping up into I charge money. And because I charge money, I can then give that money to another female for their product that they can then charge for. And the cycle starts
Mm-hmm.
that way. But until women start stepping up into charging, we're going to stay in this mindset of lack, of minimal, of less than, of no money, no power, no
Mm-hmm.
voice.
Yeah, because it needs to be like you're saying, it needs to rotate.
Yeah.
Yes, it needs to constantly rotate.
Yeah.
Because the one thing as well, like I had long time ago, I heard like if you just get the money and you hold, let's say, let me get my hands here. You hold the money and you hold it like this, then you don't have hands to take it with. You know,
Yes.
you give, you take, you give, you take, you give,
Yeah.
you take. You know,
Yeah.
because then you're just holding and you're not giving anybody, or you're just always giving but you're not holding either. So it
Yeah.
just needs to be rotated. And one thing as well, I guess in one of the points it got like too much of like giving away for free, so that's kind of lowered the rotation as well, because like now, like you said, some people can't get anything because too many people giving away for free.
Yep.
So we need actually charge, so the money will rotate and next person gets the next item.
Exactly. Yep.
So that works that way as well. Um, so it goes back to the money wise as well. What was the last thing that you bought that made you feel happy?
The last thing that I bought that, oh, I bought a, well, I didn't buy it, but my fiance bought me a little bracelet. We were at a flea market, um, heading to a client's house. We had a little bit of extra time, stopped and got my fiance drinks coffee, and right across the street was a flea market. So we walked across the street. We had some kombucha and bought some vegan muffins. And I bought this really beautiful mustard colored bracelet, or he did. And I love it so much.
Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things as well. Like you see, a lot of times people feel like when they buy something, it makes them feel happy, you know. But then they have this like old, like old belief again, like, oh, but things shouldn't make you happy again. That old guilt, like, oh, but it's just a thing, or so like I bought it or something, so that's not like happy thing. But it is, and you're allowed to feel that. That's what I'm trying to tell people. You're allowed to feel happy about the things that you buy as well.
Yes,
You know,
100% agree.
hmm because they start feeling like, oh, it's just an item. It's not like really, they said like real happiness. Like real
Yeah,
happiness is all those little things add up to the like the happiness and joy and feeling good,
exactly.
you know, and that's how you create it.
Yep.
That's the part of it. Let me see. Let's go to love and happiness. How is love and happiness related? Because you had now, when you go back, you had a few different type of relationships.
Hmm.
So back in that abusive relationship, that was like, and that's confusing. Like, how was happiness part of that? Because there had to be, or was there, or was it like, what are your thoughts about the past abusive relationship and happiness? What comes to your mind?
Yeah, so I don't know. Somehow it's really hard for me to describe that because when I tell my story, it really sounds as if my spirit was broken. Was my spirit broken? 100%. But, this probably happens a lot. You have to save face. You have to portray happiness. You have to portray that everything's fine, or else you get in really big trouble. So, I don't know. I don't want to say that I was in a constant state of depression or stress because I wasn't. I did find blips of happiness. My son was with me.
Mm-hmm.
We had a cute little English bulldog. And even my ex, if somebody were to ever confront him, he would tell you that I was always happy. I mean, that was one of the things that
Mm-hmm.
he used to say, when he would apologize, which he was one of the few narcissists that I know of that actually did apologize. They were just fake apologies. He would just
Mm-hmm.
go right back to doing the same thing over and over again. But he would say that to me. He would say that, I don't understand how you still show up with so much optimism and so much happiness, even when I'm so angry, even when, he's freaking the F out, moments, hours later, I could still joke. I didn't let him crush me all the way.
Mm-hmm.
I just
Yes.
didn't.
But it does crushes some of the people. Like I'm wondering if the woman that, or like even men, if they get crushed by that, it's still like the same way individualistic. Because I was still the same. I was the same way. I found ways to make the happy things happen and find happy moments. And my core being is happy. It's always been.
Yeah, same.
But for some people, it gets completely stolen from.
Yeah.
And now, with being in this new beautiful relationship, that you can get to just actually be happy and like have like every day like normal. How do you say it in this situation? How the love is and happiness?
Daily. It's every single day. Every single day is full of happiness and laughter and smiling. And do we still argue? Yes. Is there still frustration? Yes. Is there still all the other emotions? Yes, 100%. And the sadness is far and few between. The anger, the stress is far and few between. One of the things that I love to talk about is when you look at your relationship, what is the percentage? What is the ratio of depression, sadness, anxiety compared to laughter, joy, and happiness? Where is it? Is it 50-50? Is it 30-70? In my mind, I feel as if there should be like a 75%, like 4 to 5 days out of the week. There shouldn't be a large amount of ridiculousness happening. It should be relatively happy, good, positive.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is going to be days of arguing, of ridiculousness. It's when it's flipped. So the situation that I was in before, it was 6 to 7 days of just ridiculousness. And
Mm-hmm.
then like a half of one day a week of happiness.
Mm-hmm.
So just really sitting down and being mindful of what is your ratio in your relationship? Where is your happiness at? What's the percentage? Is there more happiness, joy, and laughter in your relationship than not? And
Mhm.
if it's flipped in the opposite direction, then you might have to look into that.
Yeah, that is true. Okay, let's go to the next one. In From your point of view, why do you think so many people are like not seeing any happiness and just not seeing the things that can make them happy?
Focus. It takes practice. You have to focus. So focusing is a choice. One of the best exercises that I do with groups is I either do it with a treasure hunt or I come in with supplies. Long story short, they're given toilet paper, a pen, a nickel, a piece of paper, a coffee cup, a toothbrush, um, odds and ends things. Okay. And I tell everybody, I want you to sit down in a group with your group and I want you to write a list of why every single thing in your pile is amazing. The best invention ever, the best story ever, the you could not live your life without this item. Okay?
Hmm.
Then I secretly go to one of the groups and I say, "Hey, listen, you're the rogue group. You are going to sit and you are going to contemplate why every single item, same item that everybody else has, is horrible, is the worst item, is this item is causing complete chaos on the earth." And when everyone is done, I have the groups that had all the goodness list off their things. Toilet paper is great for this. The penny or nickel is good for this. The coffee cup is amazing for this. And they go on and on and on about all this awesomeness for all these products. And then I have the last group go, the rogue group. And I announce, like, hey, this was the rogue group. They had to find everything negative and they list off the darkness and the stress and the anxiety and the turmoil of the earth because of this product. And I let everyone sit and I say, what was the point of this exercise? And they very quickly recognize that you could take anything at all, whether it's material things, emotions, stories, circumstances. And you could go with the greatest, most magnificent, why that thing happened or is, or the exact opposite. And you have a choice as to which one you decide to focus on. It was the same circumstance, it was the same weather, it was the same time for this whole group. Nothing crazy happened to the bad group or the rogue group. But yet they were still able to sit down because your mind can do both. Your mind is capable of positive and negative, but you have to exercise. You have to exercise which way you want it to roll.
Hmm. You know, like you might not remember, but I actually did that with you. I did that
Yes,
with yes, I did that with you in one of your masterminds, and I thought it was so cool.
I love it.
Like you say, eye-opening thing. It's just like you say, depends. The same item, you can give it a positive or negative meaning.
Exactly.
Anything that happens in a life, it depends what kind of meaning do you give it. You give it to. You
Exactly.
know, like positive, and like some of the things you can't give like 100% positive, but you can find some positive outcome or like deal with the situation or something like this. But the negative is always your own option as well, you
Yep.
know.
Yep.
Because I remember you had like a penny and pen and like random things,
Yeah.
you know.
Exactly. Totally
So
random.
mhm.
Yep.
And like you say, it's all just the way, and it's a good practice for people to do as well. Focus on like one thing and decide what is the good thing about it and what is the bad thing about it. And
Exactly.
like your brain will find both things.
Exactly.
That's actually one of the things that people learn when they learn debating. What's the thing that I pronounced it a little bit wrong. You know, when the two sides go against each other.
Oh, debating.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's the thing. Like when they learn how to do that, they have to learn how to take one subject and they like be for it. Like say, like make other people believe in it.
Yeah.
And then they also have to know how to make people not to believe it.
Yes.
And you just have to like I learned it a little bit in a high school, like how you do both. So you
Yeah.
know you can do both things with the like you can make person absolutely believe in one thing and you can make them same time absolutely think it's wrong. You know?
Yes.
And that's you have to do it with yourself as well, with your thoughts that come in your mind.
Yep. You're right. 100%.
Hmm. And then you find what is like truth for you. Like,
That's it.
what is your or what works for you personally because something works for something is a good for another and not good for you, but some things are good for that other person, but they don't work for you.
Exactly.
Especially with happiness, like we always go back. Some things that make that person happy don't make everybody happy.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So, and one question that I have still, one more question, and then we talk about other things. But why do you think people even want to be happy? It's like, why it's a thing?
People strive for no problems, and that's just not a thing. People say that they love surprises, and surprises are the positive problem. It's a positive oops. But when you have a problem that's also a surprise, a bad thing, a negative thing, it's seen as a negative. But you have to have both. You have to have the positives and you have to have the negatives, or else it would be boring. If you think about your life and what it would look like without any, if everything just went perfect, it would be so boring. But yeah, people don't like to stretch themselves. People get scared, they get fearful, they want things to always be the same. They don't like conflict. So whenever anything kind of bumps them, of something that they don't want to hear or feel, it's a complete disaster sometimes. And this is why it's so important to listen to podcasts like yours, to get involved with a coach so they can really help you reframe and really help you recognize not how to avoid issues or problems or struggles, but how to stand tall while they're happening and walk through them calmly. It doesn't have to be that dramatic. It really doesn't. We make things so dramatic, and it doesn't have to be any of
No.
that.
Yeah, definitely. And that's one of the things as well. I see there the way I divide as well people, and they should like know. Like some of the people, they like stability, and some of the other people, they like variety. You just have to know which one you like.
Yeah.
Some people like when there's like days are like stable, it's always kind of pretty much the same, and that's where they feel happy. That's comfortable for them.
Yep.
But there's other people who like variety,
Yep.
and you have to know like one or the other one is not wrong. It's just you have to find which one is yours.
Exactly. I
You
love that.
know,
Yeah.
that's the way it works. So, what's the plans for your future?
Ooh, we're going big. I'm working on building the largest all female community on the planet. I am striving to create the largest school slash university on mindset, wellness, finances, and really help people level up. There's a gap. There's a huge gap between where we should be as humans, mentally and
Mhm.
emotionally, the average human, and where we are. And I'm looking to close that gap to, highlight teachers, coaches, mentors to come in and to teach us how to do it better, teach us mindset.
Mhm. That's very important.
Yeah.
I'm gonna remind the viewers to subscribe before we end everything. Subscribe and hit the like button, and follow Sabrina. I'm gonna have all the links on the bottom as well for description. And what? How do you want the viewers to find you?
Yeah,
What's
my website's easy. It's sabrinavictoria.com. So just my name. And then that page will lead you to all the other awesomeness that I do.
mm-hmm, that's cool. Any for ending thoughts about, like, how about ending thoughts about something related to happiness though? Because the title is kind of like how is the happiness in a real life? You know,
Yeah.
because you had such a real life with all the experiences and things that you've been going through. So people to understand what is happiness in real life, not like the imaginary fabulous 24/7 happiness, but happiness in real life.
Yeah. One of the things that I use still today is a motto that I've been living with since I was probably mid 20s. And that is that everything's going to be okay. So, whenever I'm getting a little down, anytime I'm getting a little stressed, I feel anxiety coming up, I take a deep breath and I either out loud or internally say, everything's going to be okay. And when I can really internalize that and breathe through that, it just brings everything up. It just brings everything up. And not that you're going to be just like click and be happy, but um, you can lower the stress level in your life and bring you a notch closer to happiness by just reminding yourself that you're good. You're okay.
Hmm. That sounds good. Okay, so for the viewers, I just want to tell as well, like, please share the video so we can share the message of what happiness is and how to have more of it in your life. And hit the subscribe to see the fun upcoming podcasts. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.